Good evening. My faith journey started with my parents and my home church at St. John's Lutheran Church in Brooklyn. My dad didn't go to church, but he taught me that he felt God's presence when him and I would pull chickweed out of the grass in the backyard. My mom went to church, but not as often as she wanted to. She didn't drive and had to depend on others or walk. She taught me how to look things up in the Bible. I loved her Bible because where the writing was in red was Jesus speaking, the King James Bible. And I believed in God from then on and knew that Jesus was my Savior. But when I got married the first time, my husband was in the Air Force and stationed in Wichita, Kansas. He was there for 2 years. Then we got married, and I was there for the next 2 years. It was okay, and I made many friends. But the friends would tell me I need to believe what they did and how they did, and they wanted me to go to their churches. So I went to different churches, and was always told I would go to hell if I didn't change my way of thinking. I was so torn and confused, so many different ways that I just wanted to cry and actually become an atheist. I didn't want to believe anything because no one was being honest. It was now time for us to come home. I couldn't wait to see my family. After a week being home, I asked my mom if she would watch our son Eric so I could walk down to our church. She did. As I walked, I tried to pray, and it just wouldn't come. I walked into the sanctuary and looked at the picture of Jesus in the Garden of Gethsemane. I sat down, and the prayers, tears, and joy came over me. God be praised. I was home. Throughout my adult life, I have been through many adversities, but I thought back to a poem that my mom would read to me. From that day on, my faith grows stronger every day. Even my cane reminds me of the support I have from God, and the light on my cane reminds me Jesus is the light of the world. Because when I walk out in the mornings to go to work, it's dark, and I have my cane with me, and it reminds me that God is holding me up so that I don't fall into any kind of danger, and He's there with me always. And when I turn on my light so that I can see where I'm going, it reminds me that Jesus is the light of the world, and He also is with me always. So like I said before, my mom read a poem to me one day, and actually she read it to me a couple times. And I didn't really understand until after going through lots of adversities. So the poem, I'm pretty sure you probably know, but I want to read it to you myself because I think it will answer a lot of questions. I know it did for me, and I hope it brings peace and love for you. It's called Footprints. One night, I dreamed I was walking along the beach with the Lord. Many scenes from my life flashed across the sky. In each scene, I noticed footprints in the sand. Sometimes there were 2 sets of footprints. Other times there were 1 set of footprints. This bothered me because I noticed that during the low periods in my life, when I was suffering from anguish, sorrow, or defeat, I could see only 1 set of footprints. So I said to the Lord, "You promised me, Lord, that if I followed you, you would walk with me always." But I have noticed that during the most trying periods of my life, there have only been 1 set of footprints in the sand. Why, when I needed you the most, you have not been there for me? And the Lord replied, "The times when you have seen only 1 set of footprints in the sand is when I carried you."